What's up, everybody, and welcome to Charge Sports Network. Today is something new and exciting. We are introducing a new show to a very expanded weekly calendar, which is going to be called the Tipoff series. Obviously, guys, you know I'm on Mondays with Around the Grounds, and I've also been giving you some things over on Fridays with The Journey, which is more so a little bit about the coaching stuff, but today, we're talking about hoops. We're getting back into basketball. Basketball season is here, and it's been exciting. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been a lot of things going on, but I want to introduce my new co-host.
Thank you. What's up, guys? My name is Emily. You may know me as @MSportsTakes on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Emily, Kate, yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Super excited to get this series going because we all love the NBA. It's an 82-game season, so there is plenty of time and plenty of content to talk about. So what better way than a nice little weekly recap to get it flowing? So super excited, ready to get it going.
I don't think anyone needs to ask what favorite team you rocking with,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
one needs to know what's going on. But
for sure.
I respect it. As stated, you might agree with this debate because I want to go ahead and just say it right now. LBJ is not the GOAT, and the reason for I saying this is because of the fact that you can't call yourself the GOAT when you shared your decade with.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's how but that's why if you want me and I'm just gonna put my GOAT debate out now on episode 1, guys. Reason why, and I'm not an MJ fan, never seen MJ. The reason why I say this is because between the 90s and the 2000s, did anyone contest MJ outside of MJ? No. When you look at the 2000s and 2010s, you can't say Kobe because Timmy D was there. Mm-hmm. Tim Duncan and those Spurs took 5 of those.
Yep,
you know what I mean? 100%. So you think about it and then when you look at the 2010s and 2020s, it was Steph and it was LeBron. And then you seen, Dirk still won.
Yeah.
And then you see Kawhi still won with Kawhi still won as well.
All right, let's relax on that. Let's chill out. No,
hold on. I give you guys credit. That season was filled with injuries. A healthy Golden State would have won that.
100%.
Yeah, it was like injury after. Yeah, that was just.
Come on now. Yeah, no, I do think sometimes the GOAT debates can be silly because it's such a different game today versus what it was then. But I 1000% agree with you in the sense of domination. And you can't, to me personally, how can you be the greatest of all time if you have someone stealing 4 rings from you during your time? And also, my respect for LeBron comes from his longevity.
Thank you.
Yeah. The fact that he's still doing what he's doing at his age is that's where I tip my hat because I know he's one of the greatest to ever do it. But all time, that's a tough one. But still, nothing but respect.
That's where I sit with it. It's the same way with Tom Brady. Tom has his rings, but at the same time, there's one quarterback who can say, yeah, I beat Tom in the biggest moments, Eli. Eli can say that. And both times they went to the Super Bowl, that was his kryptonite. You can't say it. You know what I mean? That's one thing that you can say oh, yeah, Tom's the greatest quarterback except when he plays Eli.
Yeah, which is crazy. Out of all quarterbacks, it's Eli.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Eli. Shout out Giants.
But, all right, guys, we're going to get on to the topic. I don't want to steer too much. We had to get our GOAT debate figured out. Just a little bit, just to put it on there. We're going to talk about this season's, first and foremost, Frontrunners. Obviously, we're going to talk about the standings in the East and the West, but obviously the biggest topic to debate is whether or not Nikola Jokic can pull another MVP off, which is debatable right now because he's playing really, really well. Yeah. But also, I feel respectfully, because I'm a Thunder fan and I was a Seattle Sonics fan for a long time, SGA got robbed last year. So I really feel you got to give credit to what is due. This kid... they put a team that no one thought was going to work, and they're competing against some of the best teams in the league right now, and being the youngest teams to do it. I felt that was hurtful.
Listen, so here's my thing I respect what OKC has done these last 2 seasons. Honestly, I didn't expect it to happen this quickly. So they are but they got a bunch of dogs. I think Chet being healthy really is what catapulted it. So hopefully he can get back soon. But for me with SGA, The reason I'm pro Jokic getting his 4th is because I'm just a fan of pure hoops, and I just hate the free throws. I can't do it. Like,
okay.
It
SGA
kills
reminds
me.
me of a new version of James Harden, not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
James found his way. When he was cooking, he found his way in Houston. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand why SGA does what he does, because if you're going to get the call, obviously it's to your advantage. So you're going to do whatever's going to help you win. But to me, if you're averaging 30 a game, but 15's from the line, like, it's just not as impressive to me. Like, I don't know if you watched the Warriors game against OKC, and they called the foul on Wiggins when Wiggins was just running straight down the court, and SGA went into him, and it's a foul on Wiggins. Like, that type of
there's
stuff.
Certain calls.
Like, we gotta steer away, which it pisses me off, because it's like, if the refs called it in a different way to where he wasn't going to the line a bunch, it would be even more fun to watch him, because he wouldn't be at the line every single possession. Instead, you would see him pull off, these crazy things out of his bag, and then boom, he makes the basket, and then just stay away from the free throw line. For me personally, but again, Golden State fan, so you're gonna have your bias as an OKC fan. I'm gonna have my bias.
No. Like, in retrospective, like, my front runners, if you want my top 5 front runners for MVP, it doesn't even have SGA as the number 1.
Okay, I respect that.
In retrospective, like, I have SGA sitting at a solid 3, because one thing, my criticism right now is that Oklahoma City Thunder, even last year, the biggest thing is they can go on runs, but they have a real trouble of finishing games. We don't have a closer. J-Dub might pop up every now and then. Chet or an SGA pop up, but we don't have an official, like, oh yeah, give me the rock 4th quarter. I'm taking over. I'm finishing this game. I'm not letting them come back. And we've given up so many 15-point, 14-point leads against teams we should blow out. You know what I mean? That's the frustration with that, is that, in my opinion, most valuable player, meaning, like, I can give you the rock, there's 3 seconds left, you're going to hit that, whether it's missed or not, you have the confidence to take that shot. I don't have that feeling with SGA yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yes.
I get that feeling more with Chet than I do SGA.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's just me personally.
Yeah, I can respect an OKC fan that at least you are objective about it. Like, you understand how other fans get pissed off about certain.
So like, a reason why I feel like in the situation last year is that he literally pulled Oklahoma City Thunder into the playoffs. So that's why I felt like the MVP question should have been a lot more, and especially how many games he was healthy in comparison to Jokic.
Yeah,
that's where I was looking at more of the healthy standpoint and who carried who, because even then, like, you still have a Jamal over there with, you know what I mean? Like,
but take it easy. You got a Chet over there too. Like,
that's let me to be fair.
Wemby a run for his money for Rookie of the Year. That's how good he was. So
I'm not saying Chet's not him. I'm not saying Chet's not him, but in my opinion, I just felt like they didn't find that chemistry until, like, in my opinion, they didn't find that chemistry until now, this season. Like, they're showing that chemistry more now, because, like, last year, you're thinking about it, like, Chet's coming off of an injury last year. He didn't play his first rookie season, so that's why he was, you know what I mean? So it's just like, there was a lot of still things that he didn't click with the team, and he has a full season with them. I feel like they're clicking more now than they was last year than this year. But back to the front runner aspect, I feel like I said, I think SGA is sitting at a 3 for me.
Okay.
Now, a person that I feel like right now is sitting number 1, and this is just purely like Kevin Durant. Okay. Right now, KD, he's in a, like, I haven't seen KD like this since he left Oklahoma City. Like, Slim Reaper KD, like, he's starting to come back to, like, okay. And he's
I can definitely see it. I think that having
not even just going off points, like KD just both offensively and defensively.
The fact that he is teammates with Book and with Beal, and he's the guy when you need him to be, like, that just shows you, like, those, like, Book, don't get me, like, Book to me is top 10 in the league right now. So, like, the fact that KD is able to take over a game still at his age, given his, like, the company that he's in, that's honestly a good pick right now for MVP. I'm going Jokic just because the statistics are.
Oh no, Jokic is at 2. Like, that's over my SGA. Like I said, he's at 2 because what he's doing as a big man is still impressive.
Yeah.
But my 4 and my 5 is, like, my 4 is not even on the Kia's list, and you're gonna like my 4 because he's standing like he's behind you. Then that's Steph. Steph is definitely the 4. Like you can't disregard. Like the last game he just played against Clay. My Lord,
I can't even goosebumps just thinking about it. It was so, and then what Draymond did on the defensive side too, like those were literally both performances epitome of like.
Even like I was happy to see in retrospective because I'm not a fan of either. I was even happy to see Clay pop off the way he was.
I know.
I was just like, oh man,
too. It was so hard to not like cheer when he was making the three. Like it played out exactly as I wanted it to because I just wanted Steph to go off, Draymond defense. Like I wanted them to get the win, but I wanted Clay to play well, so that way he could go out like head on his shoulders, feeling good. And that's exactly
exactly what happened. But like I said, I have Steph at 4 and fifth, you gonna look at me, and you gonna look at me again like this is Paulo Benchuro.
I know. Listen, man, I hear you. I do.
I do. Come on now.
I know. No,
that's a wild pick.
It is, but honestly, like the only reason it's wild is because for whatever reason, the media just does not talk about him enough. Because the only reason top 5 is because it's who the media pushes. But like he has such a nice bag, and I feel like nobody pays him the respect that he deserves, except for like real basketball fans that are actually paying attention. Like
I'm just like he's hooping right now. Like
I was pissed when he got hurt. I mean, comes back, he keeps it up.
Like, in my opinion, you know what I mean. So. That's where I'm at with that one, but yeah, he's been playing. Honestly, I respect that list. That is a solid list. The only thing I would change is I would put Jokic at 1 because, like I said, like the stats, the fact that Jokic could post up 20 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and you'd be like, he didn't have that good of a game. Like that's how good he's playing. Unless he's putting up 37, 18, 12. Like, you know what I mean? Like the insane numbers. He's getting triple doubles, and it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not like a nice 12, 10, 10. It is insane what he is doing. And I just love the brand of basketball that he plays. Because he doesn't really, he just hoops. That's it. For me, I like it. It's very, and my thing is the way him and Jamal play broke that, you need a big 3 to win a champ. Well, I think, don't get me wrong, I feel like Bucks kind of broke that because there was not a true big 3 with the Bucks. You know what I mean?
Like, have Drew, but like...
that's what I was like.
It depends on which Drew showed up offensively, so...
all right. So you were like, is your list similar, or do you have...
Yeah, I would say my list is similar. I do have Luka up there. I feel like to me, Luka's. I would probably swap SGA for Luka just because.
Respect. I can see why because of the free throws.
Yeah,
I can see why.
But Luka gets a really good whistle too. It's not SGA level, but like he's got a fair whistle too, and it still What pisses me off the most is that I feel like the people that have like the most generous whistle complain the most to the refs when they don't get something called. I'm like, just shut up. Like you literally are getting the whistle every other play. So Luka unfortunately is one of those where if he doesn't get the call, he's complaining in the ref's ear. But nevertheless, I feel like offensively, he's done really well so far this season, and he has been a bit banged up. I just don't think his MVP talk carries that much weight right now because the Mavericks are really struggling. I think they fell to 12th place. They lost to the Jazz last night. So like it's the Mavericks, and like they could easily get it going. Derek Lively was out for a little bit, so like that definitely hurt them. So they could click at any point and then go from there. I predicted Luka winning the MVP prior to the season starting, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, no, I really like your list. You could probably, just because of the media, throw in a little Jason Tatum if you wanted to.
Like, my reason for Jason Tatum is like I don't feel like Jason Tatum is the best player on his team. I feel like Jaylen Brown is. And that's a hot take as itself, but it's just like
I think the Celtics are one of those teams where it's the best player is just any given night. Like it's not always going to be Tatum, it's not always going to be Brown. Sometimes it's Derek White. Like it's such a deep squad with so much talent that they kind of just rotate whoever has the hot hand. I kind of agree with you there though, where I feel like him and Jaylen are very, to me, like they're pretty. I'd probably put Jason above by like literally like just a hair, but the whole Olympic narrative really pissed me off with not playing. So because of that, I keep him out of my top 5 because like, bro, get over it already. But He definitely deserves a little bit of love, and he has the ability to be MVP because the media loves him. Again, I keep mentioning the media, but it's just because it is a media-voted award, and a lot of the people who are voting on it only pay attention to what the media is talking about. So if you're not in that news cycle, the likelihood of you winning is slim to none when it comes to something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
There's
one team that I feel like surprising us right now because they're the only team unbeaten.
Yes. Cleveland.
You know what I saw? Cavaliers, and that's crazy because you don't like with the roster that you see an unbeaten 13-0.
You know what I saw the other day? I saw someone put, they're like, okay, here's what's going to happen. They're going to go 24-0, and then they're going to blow a 3-1 lead to the Warriors in the finals this year. And I was like, please, all for it, all forward. But honestly, I am not surprised because when they picked up Kenny Atkinson, like he came from us, as soon as they signed him, I was like, all right, yup, they're going to be top dogs in the East. Like I expected the Celtics to be on top, and they so much season left. They probably will finish on top, but I knew Cleveland easily top 3 in the East as soon as they made that signing because it felt like last year the pieces were there. It was just the coaching, and it was inserting the pieces correctly. So now Evan Mobley's coming into himself. Like, Donovan Mitchell is just doing what he does. Spider's doing what he does. Darius Garland is becoming, like, a serious starter. Like, yeah, insane. So the pieces were there. They just needed the right, assessment and the right person leading them to get to where they need to go. And Kenny Atkinson is just that guy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, but they need to lose eventually because I don't want anyone touching the 24-0, honestly. Yeah.
Personally, like, in my opinion, with Cleveland, the way they're playing right now, it's just, and it's depends on how long their team can remain healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like that's a question with any team making deep.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, all the, like, that Cleveland team reminds me of how my Oklahoma City Thunder looks right now in comparison to, like, they are a veteran team now. They've had their experiences, they have their bumps, they've had almost the same core players. They're coming back, and they have a little playoff experience last season.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, now this team, okay, we have the pieces that we need. We're clicking. We have a solid coaching staff, and now we're actually getting the results against top level teams. Okay, we can be.
It kind of same vibes to the Celtics a couple of years back when it was the conversations of do we keep Tatum and Brown and they make this work. Like now,
that was how he was talking about Mitchell and Garland, like for a huge
we knew Mitchell like with his time in Utah, like he is a proven winner as far as like the postseason. He'll show up for you. Like we knew that, but it was really the question mark of Mobley, of Garland, and like you said, like they now have had their time in the playoffs. They have more experience on them. And to me, I still look at them as young players, but you're right. You could consider them vets in a way because, all right, this isn't their first time doing this. So,
and especially with their core players, that's the thing. Yeah. Like it's different when a team is rebuilding and like, yes, you got a few veteran players who've had their chance at a playoffs, but you haven't had a playoff run with this team. A lot of and that's what makes or break a good team is like now these guys have had 1 or 2 postseasons playing together, and now they're getting the results they're wanting, and they're beating teams. Oh, now things are clicking. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we're starting to see. So
100%.
I feel like Cleveland, just like any other team, like I don't think they're going to top the East. I feel like they might fall second or third in comparison to a Milwaukee that might sweep back up because yes, they're 2-6 now, but Giannis has been having like the last 2 games have been freakish. You know what
Honestly,
I mean?
I think that Milwaukee, Giannis, I don't think he's going to be a Milwaukee Buck for much longer going forward in the future because I feel like this season, I have the opposite point of view. I feel like he's going to crash and burn. He's going crazy right now as far as stats he's putting up, and it's barely enough for them to win. So I don't think it's sustainable. I do think
Damian has to stand up. Damian Lillard has to go back to Portland.
He wants to be a Miami Heat. Like Dame does not want to be there. But I think that the Knicks do creep back up in the standings. They'll probably finish 2 or I feel like the top 3 in the East, when all said and done, in any given order, it'll be Boston, Cleveland, New York.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
In retrospective, I do think Milwaukee can come back, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, the only reason why I say this, the reason why I'm saying this is just because of the fact that I've been on the opposite end of doubting Damian Dollar. Oh my gosh.
Multiple playoff runs have ended in a 3. I trust Damian Lillard, at least playoff Dame. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I can't agree with you on that one. I have a different point of view.
I'm sorry. At least Damian has eliminated my team, so I can.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I don't know. I feel like I love Doc Rivers as a person. I just don't.
Yeah. Like I don't think it was smart. Like that's another reason why I feel like Suns are doing so well is because they lost. Like Bucks lost a really huge piece with losing their head coach.
Yes, 1,000%. And I'm still confused to this day why they did that whole thing. I feel like something didn't come out about that with what was really going on because it was.
I feel like it might have been because
random.
of the Drew Holiday trade. Like, you really think that head coach had anything to do with Holiday going over? No,
probably
I don't think
not. Probably not.
I don't like. In my opinion, like, why would you? Because Holiday is your vocal point in your defense. You lost everything. That's why you was able to still beat teams, is because you got someone who's giving you 4 or 5 steals a game and pressing the best player on the team outside of if it's in size range.
And then not only that, but then he goes to Boston of all places.
Yes, and wins the championship on top of it.
I know. Don't even get me started. I can't. The fact that they got him and Porzingis is just like, why are we? Why? It's like the Kansas City Chiefs, not to throw football in here, but it's like just when you think they're good enough, they just keep getting pieces, and it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. All right, we spoke about our Cleveland. I have a strong bit of a discussion about our little sideline distraction, which was the LBJ and Bronny. In retrospective, as an African-American male, I respect it because you haven't seen a father-son duo since the Griffeys. And I watched the Seattle Mariners, you know what I mean? So I can say the Griffeys was fun. Like my dad watched the home run of both of them in the same game.
Yeah. Okay.
So I respect, breaking history to that extent, and obviously his longevity there. In my personal opinion, though, I feel like, and this is like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna go straight into it because I don't care about LeBron James fans right now. I feel like there was better players who could have got drafted.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, you had the likes of Shaq's son, who didn't make an NBA team, who could have. You have someone over in the Grizzlies, which is Scottie Pippen Jr. over there balling. You don't see him getting the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Wasn't he on the Lakers at one point?
At one point he was.
Yeah.
Shaq's
but now he's not. And now he's
yes.
Like
yes, so it's just like Scottie Pippen Jr. Like he's over there doing good things. There's other, like, in my opinion, like, he got drafted, but I forgot the young boy's name. He played for North Carolina State, the big boy.
Oh my gosh. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he didn't get drafted though.
He was my favorite in March Madness. I know. Oh wait, where did he go? Detroit?
Yes.
Where
I can't remember. I can't remember the location. Like, that's something I can probably look up after.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's another player, like, that's on a list that didn't get drafted, and this kid went to the final. He's a team that
he single-handedly, like, willed them to it.
He willed them to games.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then on top of that, what made me so happy about this player, he even drops 100 pounds after draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something we didn't even see from Zion until now, and he's still struggling.
We still haven't seen it, really.
So it's just like the heart for that young athlete, and it's just, I'm not saying Bronny's not good, but my opinion, Bronny should be doing what Kean is doing right now, if I'm saying his name right. Carmelo's son. He just, mind you, today he just fully committed to Syracuse.
Oh, did he
That was
really?
Today. Yes, going to his father. Like, this was maybe an hour and a half ago.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So he committed to Syracuse. So it's just like, this is, like, in my opinion, the star of the James boys is going to be Bryce. He got the height of his dad already. You know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be Bryce.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion, Bryce is not going to rush the development. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that pressure of playing with his pops. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although, at this rate, with how long LeBron's going.
Yeah, who knows?
Honestly. Plays
like,
with
I'm
all-
not saying
plays
like,
with both
you know
of
what I mean?
them.
I like the discussion of having a father-son playing together,
Yeah,
but at the same time, my debate comes off of other athletes who was well deserving of being drafted that night.
Yes.
Could have been in that spot.
Yeah. And
don't
honestly,
get me wrong, like Bronny could have made his way in the league, just like how they put him
Yeah.
on the South Bay Lakers. That could have been a G League spot immediately for him.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah,
They could
for
have brought
sure.
him up, like instead of drafting him, he could have went undrafted. But I
Two-way,
guess with the
yeah.
Bronny, with the name James in it, going undrafted would have just been unheard of. So that's probably why they did it. But in my opinion, if he didn't have that James title and they still wanted him, they could have brought him in South Bay Lakers. If they still wanted to break history with a father-son duo, bring him up for a game, give him a 10-day contract for a couple games, drop his butt back down for development, break history, get the media going, make some shirt sales. If that's what they're doing for the media aspect, do it that way. But don't give up a whole slot for a kid who could potentially be a star for your fucking team. It mind blows me.
I definitely agree with you with what you're saying because, and I actually feel for Bronny a little bit because it's almost hurting his game because he could be in the G League right now, developing his game, playing against dudes at like similar levels to where he is becoming a better player, but instead he's riding the bench, seeing minimal minutes, like, so he's could almost be, obviously his dad's LeBron, so you know what, maybe he goes home, he plays with one of the greatest to ever do it, so maybe his game isn't hurting because of it. But I just think that if the Lakers last year obviously didn't end it as they wanted to, they were a play-in team, yes they advanced, they won a round in the playoffs, that's great, but they still bounced by the Nuggets, like, so going into this season, I was surprised that they made pretty much no moves, being that they finished as a play-in team last year. And really the only thing they did was they signed JJ Redick as a coach. I love him so far, by the way. But I just feel like if it was a team that was so stacked and was so proven last year, and then they took Bronny in the second, I'd be like, all right, I get it. Because that guy's not going to see the floor anyway. But they could have drafted someone else that probably would be seeing the floor right now because they're not looking too hot. And they could probably use a guy that could help them out.
And here's the thing, and my thing is that this is going to go on speaking, like, because we have this topic on it, which is stars playing in back-to-back games. One of the stars on their team can't do it, and that's Anthony Davis. He hasn't come out and said it, but his physicality, he's not able to barely play 48 games a season.
Yeah.
He's barely able to play 48 games a season.
Yeah. Which is
full games.
Yeah. It sucks because he could be a real secret for MVP, but they have the new rule now where you got to play X amount of games. So I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna make that. And that's just and I hate to say that, but it's just like they're so big of trying to make Anthony Davis fill in for LeBron James' shoes that they're missing on opportunities in this draft to where when LeBron is gone, they're going to be left basically like how Kobe left Lakers when he retired, with nothing to work with, a bunch of rookies that don't know what the hell they're doing, with no veteran on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's going to be sad to say, and then you're going to have a broken Anthony Davis who can barely give you 15 minutes without going hurt, which I retrospective, I don't like to see any athlete hurt, so I want him to get back on the court. Yeah. I want him to be healthy a full season. But to be fair, the last three, his whole 90% of Anthony Davis' contract with the Lakers, he sat on the bench.
I honestly think that
that's real.
1,000%. I think that he would be a top 5 all-time player if he could have stayed healthy throughout his career because he is so injury prone. But when he is on the court and he feels good, he is such a beast. He is so unstoppable. So it really does suck to see him go down so much with injuries because such a talented player. A dude that honestly, like, even if you don't like the Lakers, you still want to see him play because he is a baller. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, like you said, he hasn't announced like, oh,
you want me to know how. You want me to know, like, this is a wild take, but, this is what this is all about. You know how the only difference between LaMarcus Aldridge and Damian Lillard duo and the LeBron James and Anthony Davis duo is they got lucked out and won a bubble ring. That's it. In my opinion, Aldridge is just like an AD to me. Injury prone, very good player. Don't get me wrong, Aldridge with Damian Lillard during that season when he was a rookie, they could have went if he was healthy. Like, that was a deep threat Portland Blazers team.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm sorry, at least, like, that's my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, Anthony Davis, by far, you comparing the two, yes, Anthony Davis can by far outbeat Aldridge. Yeah. But in my opinion, duo-wise, with the type of star caliber of LeBron James and AD, and they're compared to Damian Lillard and Aldridge duo within their split.
Oh, so I see why you say it was a wild take, because LeBron,
yes.
You know what I mean?
But like, you expect that duo to be better than what... But they're in comparison outside of the bubble, which is very controversial.
That's, okay, I hear you.
There are comparisons.
I definitely am. Sorry, Laker fans, they're going to hate me, but I definitely place an asterisk on that bubble ring. I would do that for any team, even if it were my own, because the number of games played, the environment that it's played in, and it's weird because it's like you have dudes that come out, and typically it's dudes that played on the Lakers. They'll be like, yeah, it was the most intense thing ever. You're just alone with your thoughts. But then you have other players come out that played in it, didn't win it, and they were just like, no, it was the easiest shit ever, because like you could it literally was like playing at LA Fitness. Like, so I personally just think, to me, like when it comes to the bubble, there's got to be a little bit of an asterisk. So half a ring.
Thank you. All right, so let's wrap things up. I want to mention Embiid on just on the topic that we spoke about AD, on his not being able to play back-to-back games and how that can reflect the league itself. My personal opinion, and obviously players are going to hate media for saying, oh, you don't play, you never... I say fucking suck it up, you know what I mean, at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting paid. I understand... Like, I wouldn't even say fucking play 80 games a season. I'm not asking that. I'm saying play 80% of your fucking games. That's 60 games. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do this shit. That means utilize, like, what Derrick Henry's over there doing, spending most of his money on his fucking budget for his diet. That's what you need to worry about doing, trying to stay healthy, because that is your bill. That is your check. You know what I mean? No one else has the opportunity to play professional. And it's not like, oh, we didn't want to. You got selected out of us. It's not like we wouldn't want to play professional hoops for our fucking lives. You know what I mean? If I could, I would.
Yeah, sign me up.
You know what I mean? Like, shit, I'll be a fucking 12th man on the bench playing. I don't care. Like, just happy to be in the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Just being there.
It definitely does rub me the wrong way a little bit, because it's one thing to rest because you have an active injury. It's another thing to rest because you're trying to prevent any injuries. It's like, at that rate, you might as well live in a glass box. Yeah.
You're not competitive, like...
Yeah. Because the people that really want it, that are so competitive, they don't want anyone else out there but themselves.
Yes,
people,
you have to be
like, you take a look at Jordan, Kobe, like the real killers, where it's like their leg could be falling off and they're like, put me back in. So to me, I understand what the Sixers are trying to do from the perspective of, well, we want him for postseason, we need him healthy. He's never healthy.
But here's the thing, like, it's not even just. It's
like,
not even just healthy with the post. I don't want to hear that fucking shit. The reason why, like, my thing with them with the postseason is that you've had him healthy with the postseason with a prime Ben Simmons feeding this fucker. I don't want to hear it. He couldn't capitalize and win games. Like, that be realistic.
There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse.
I was just saying, like,
Ben
Simmons was a pass and still is. He had 15 assists. He's a pass fiend. You had a person who was afraid to shoot, feeding this fucker 90% of the passes, and he couldn't get the job done. I don't want to hear it at this point.
I know. And my thing is, like, if you're resting him to save him for the postseason, how are you going to get to the postseason? Because you're losing all of these games.
Your games, exactly. You put your team, you hinder your team in putting them in a position to where they have to face a dominant East team round one and try to scave away a round one victory for the sake of his health. My opinion is the fact that, yes, I'm not expecting Embiid, I'm not expecting you to play fucking 80 games, but I need you to play 65. I need you to play 60. Because if not, we don't make it to the fucking postseason. You know what I mean? Like,
and then it doesn't even, we didn't even breach upon the topic of, what about, a mom or dad who worked their asses off to take their kid to a game, and all they want to do is see Embiid, and then they can't see him because he's resting. Like, it's just from the fan. That's the heartbreakers, because all the, like, and you'd be like, oh, like, if it wasn't for the fans, you guys wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying fans can be disrespectful, because I'm not one to throw. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I'm also stating the fact that, like, yeah, like, for me, if I spent
3 fucking checks as a dad, 3 checks, spending this $1,300, $1,000 fucking seats to try to get court sides for my kid to have a world of a time experience, because this might be the only chance we get fucking courtside seats to an NBA game, and the player that he's rocking is sitting down, and it'll be different if he's full-blown injured or recovering from an injury or had a last game where he took a wrong bump and they're on injury one. I get that, but he's full-blown healthy and not suited up. Yeah. Now, it'll be different if it was a dispute between coaches, you know what I mean? Like, he's arguing with the coach. It'll be different if it's from drama or some shit like that happened.
If it's the higher-ups,
yeah, it was a higher-up decision or something like that. That's different, too. But it's just like, you're flat out saying you're scared to get hurt to play a game that you're playing millions to play in. For me, like, I hated to be...
You went and played for Team USA in the summer, but now you're not healthy to start the season.
Yeah, that's... And my thing is, like, in retrospective, and I'm going to end it off, like, just because you mentioned Team USA, I'm going to mention it off before we go into next week. I feel like, and this is because I'm a football fan, and I'm not talking American football, I'm talking about world football, and that's soccer. I'm a football fan, and I feel like you should take honor. Like, U.S. is really disrespectful to the national teams in all counts. Probably the only thing that's probably more respect is our women's basketball team. They show respect for our national team and going to play, and they really develop their young athletes. Even their college players go and play, and it's actually competitive. But I feel like, in my opinion, we shouldn't wait. This is a debate that I probably posted it, and I'll probably retweet it on my socials. But I posted a while back, like, I was very frustrated when our team lost off in the FIBA Cup against Germany. And like, oh, it's just FIBA. It doesn't fucking matter. They're the world champions at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to take our national team serious, like, we need to stop getting our asses kicked by other countries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just me personally. Like, I just don't like random fucking people jumping on the national team when there's people deserving. I get why Jason Tatum was a little bit frustrated with it. Just because on the aspect, like I'm not saying Embiid's not deserving, but he just got he just got, you know what I mean? He just got, legal to be here, you know what I mean? And he's automatically starting over me, and I'm national born. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. And then 2, it's just like, where is the honor of, why don't you guys, if you're really taking the national team serious, this shouldn't be about the fucking Olympics. It'd be like, yo, I'm playing it like Kobe. I'm playing it like Melo. I'm going to all these fucking games because this is why I have it here. That's kind of why I respect KD, because KD played in 90% of the games he played. It wasn't just Olympic games. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I respected Kobe a bit, because it wasn't just about, playing for a gold medal. It was about playing because you was playing for your national team.
Yeah. I will say, in protection, just he was injured the years of prior to this past Olympics, so he wanted to, he couldn't. But I feel like that's why this year, bringing Steph, bringing LeBron, bringing KD was such a statement, because it's like, okay, no, we still are that team. We still are that country. But we got to stop with because if you think about it,
like, when we lost, it's like we're getting embarrassed by a team because we're sending
look at who we're sending. When
yes.
So it's like we need to do a better job. I'm not saying we need to send the Stephs, the LeBrons, the KDs, but at least like the next level below. I'm talking like Brunson, Tatum. I feel like I know that Tatum had played. He obviously played in the prior Olympics, but we got to take FIBA more seriously. It can't be just Olympics every 4 years because it's just embarrassing at this point.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like taking our national team a lot more serious, and then we can have a whole debate about that itself. But in my opinion, that's why we've seen the mistakes that happened in Greece. We've seen the mistakes to the point where and we still had, and you can even think about it, we still had top level stars. Yeah. When we were getting our asses kicked in 2006, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just right now, the mindset of going into it has to change. It's just like what I tell you about our U.S. men's national team with the soccer. We got a new men's coach now, so that might change up a bit. But I'm just putting in perspective the idea for national basketball has to change, because it's just in my opinion, if we're the best country to play basketball and we consider the NBA champions to be world champions, that means we need to take priority in dominating these other countries. That way our world championship isn't in question. Why do you think Noah Lau said world champions of what? Because we can't beat Germany. We didn't beat them.
Wait, so when we played FIBA, when we lost to Germany in FIBA, did we send? Was that the year?
The highest player, in my opinion, we sent Brunson, and I think we sent Anthony Edwards.
there was another play.
Right.
But that was it.
Yep,
that was it.
Yep.
There was no other play. And I even posted, I'm like, if this is the team we're sending, I have a post on Twitter, we're going to lose. And I'll retweet it. I bet you money.
Yeah.
And like people was just like, oh, it's just people. I'm like, bro, Kobe win.
And it was also, like, to be fair, it was also we sent Brunson and Edwards before they were Brunson and Edwards.
Yes.
And before Brunson broke out on the Knicks.
Yeah, like that was when he was still with Mavs, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was before Edwards got the minutes he did with Wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah.
So
no, we can't have that. No,
yeah, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. But guys, we're gonna wrap up the show today. We're gonna be back next week to be talking about more on what's going on with the league. Let's see how everything plans out. Do you have any games that you should tell everybody to be looking out for? Any games that you feel like is gonna be some cookers this week?
Oh my God, it's the NBA, so I feel like there's always cookers. Games every night. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, definitely. I was looking.
Give me your top 3 games to watch. Top 3 outside of you being a fan of your team. Top 3 games you feel like it's just going to be like.
Not a fan of my team. Okay, hold on.
No, you can have one. You can have one. I give you that one. Okay.
I'm trying to do it to where I don't have my team in it because I'm very, very biased when it comes to that.
No, respect if you're not biased for your team, then you're riding the fan bus with those. Like, so I respect it.
Get out of here if you aren't. Okay, I would definitely. You'll like this one. Mavericks at Thunder. I feel like that'll be a good one. Too, because especially Western Conference, I know that the Mavericks aren't hot right now, but to me, they're a team that could easily get it going. Like, snap of a finger. They just got to figure it out if they're healthy. Yeah. I know I said I wouldn't give you my team, but I am excited to see the Clippers rematch with the Warriors because that's one of the games that we dropped, and I feel like we played like dog shit in that. So definitely want to see them bounce back on that one. Okay. And then, next week, Knicks Suns.
Oh, that's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, that'll be a good one because the Suns are, although KD's out, so that really sucks. But
I feel like Bill and Book.
Yeah, and then you got Cat over there now, which Cat.
Cat's been dominating.
Yeah, he's been killing it. So I don't know why. I mean, I know we're wrapping it up, but I guess it's gonna be a conversation for next week. Don't know why the Timberwolves made that trade, but we'll save that for next week.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I respect the picks.
Yeah. What about you?
I am gonna mention one thing before we wrap up because I feel like he needs to be in discussion. Wemby in that 50-point game. Let's just talk about it real quick before we get out of here. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, San Antonio if San Antonio and a CP3 can stay healthy with a Wemby, we might be seeing Lob City 2.0.
Yes, but a play-in team at best.
Yeah, I respect it.
I will say that 2 things. Number 1, prayers up to Pop. Hope he's good. Number 2, no one who is over 7 feet tall, let alone the size of an alien, like he's 7'4", should be able to make threes and have the dribble that he does. It is just disgusting. Like, it does not make sense.
I feel like right now, and this is just wrapping everything up, San Antonio needs to look for some pieces.
Yes.
Before the trade deadline, they need to find some key pieces because if they're expecting to make a playoff run, they can't rely that on a CP3. We've noticed he will get you as far as the finals goes, but if you want him for the finals, you need to keep him as healthy as possible. So
and
going to look,
he's like,
in my opinion, you need to go search for a PG and a PG who can distribute. I'm going to keep saying him because his name is going to run in the hat, and you might look at me funny, but I'm always going to say Isaiah Thomas is always that runner-up for me. Even though he's old, he's someone you can get for cheap, and he can give you the avoidable minutes. He has game time experience. He's just small. But in my opinion, like if they want a big star, they need to make some plays because right now they have something going. But I feel like they need to CP3 is only going to get you so far with Wemby, and Wemby, as seen last season, couldn't do it by himself.
Yeah.
After a while, teams have found ways to be able to play against his size. His size is not, you know what I mean?
And real quick too, I do need Wemby to get more aggressive as far as what he's doing, given the size that he is. I don't like. Yes, the fact that he can shoot a 3-ball the way that he does is very impressive. But dude, you also are like basically the height of the basket. Like, let's get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to being in the paint.
I feel like that's the difference between him and Chet. Chet put on weight. Chet, like during that off season where he was just there, his true to be rookie season, but he got hurt. I feel like that entire season, all I've seen was like little clips of him in the weight room and shit. So
yeah,
I feel like Wemby just, and Wemby should know because he played feeble ball. He needs to put on some weight. But I feel like if Wemby put on some weight, and then, in my opinion, you know, you're in a San Antonio Spurs. You better find a contact and call Timmy D, Mr. Fundamentals, and try to get some work in. Like, I would find, or even, but you got Robinson too. Like, you know, I would find one of my old head San Antonio guys. Yo, put me in the lab, coach. Like, get me working so I can start, also, put something in my bag.
Just put on size, like Wemby definitely needs to put a little bit of meat on him. But then you take a look at like a KD, and like sometimes they're more efficient when they're on the leaner side. He needs a little bit, though, just a little bit. He's in his second year, so he's got time to put it on. You have to think, like, what is he, like 20, 21? Like, he's super young, so it will come with good time. But I do need him just to get, like, a more aggressive mentality when it comes underneath the basket, because I don't want you, if you know, especially depending on the matchup, like, dude, the basket's right there. It's right there. We don't got to do a little pull-up. Like, let's just, come on. So, those are my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. We're going to be heading on out. We will see you next week. We appreciate you guys staying to the Tip-Off series. And we have a long season. It's going to be fun, filled with basketball. My name is Bobby, or over on socials known as CRG Bear. And we're going to see you guys next time.
Thank you.